Amazing. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Aisha, and I am the Open Education Project Manager at Spark. I am also one of the steering committee members for the Open Education Association Development Project. So thank you all for joining the webinar introducing the next steps on U.S. National Coordination for Open Education. The Open Education Association Development Project is a national initiative dedicated to shaping a future where resources and practices throughout our education systems are openly shared and reflective of the learners they serve. Through collaborative community-led action and strategic coordination, the project seeks to elevate the recognition of open education throughout the United States, bridge gaps between existing efforts, and foster connections that empower a great collective impact for learners. So whether you have been involved in these conversations before or this is your first time hearing about this effort, we are excited to have you all here and we value your participation. Now, before we begin, I want to just take a second to acknowledge that this webinar and the work that this initiative is doing is unfolding during a very turbulent time in our nation. Many people are facing uncertainties about their work, identities, and overall livelihoods. While some of these concerns are not new for many groups, they are undoubtedly more pronounced in this current climate. And we also recognize that in times like these, community and collective action are more essential now than ever. So our hope is as we get this work off the ground, this project can serve as a beacon of community, guided by the community to support us as we navigate the challenges of the unknown future. Now, to give a little bit of information on what we have planned here today, the members of the steering committee are going to guide you through this meeting, and I'm going to start off with sharing the agenda and what it will entail. So we will begin by providing background context of how this initiative came to be, which includes the work we did last year and who has been involved thus far. We will then share about how the Open Education Association Development Project is structured, its long-term strategic objectives, and what the priorities are at this time. We will then look ahead and let you know what's planned for the future and the type of work we expect this initiative to produce. A common theme you'll find throughout the session and during our Q&A is that we don't have all the answers yet, and that is very intentional. We are committed to being guided by community input, and therefore a lot of conversations and research need to be had before we start making concrete steps. So after presenting on the project and sharing key information, we are going to turn it all over to you and get your thoughts on some questions utilizing Padlet. We will also take some time to answer any questions you may have. We would then spend the last 20-ish minutes in breakout rooms. If breakout rooms are not your thing, no worries. You are welcome to hop off at that point. You are also welcome to just join a breakout room and listen. So I'm going to pass it over to our next steering committee member, Liliana, to share the background of this work.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liliana Diaz-Saladujan, and I'm the Senior Director of Student Success and P20 Alignment at the Colorado Department of Higher Education. I'd like to share a bit about how this initiative came to be. Last year, Doers, Spark, and the Regional Higher Education Compacts, MEC, NEBI, SREB, and WICHE, initiated a series of conversations with the open education community to explore what a national open education strategy might look like. These conversations recognize that open education has come a long way in the United States and around the world, yet there are many opportunities and challenges that could be addressed through greater national coordination and collaborative action. This includes the need to enhance recognition for open education, expand advocacy efforts, and facilitate more pathways to secure funding for open education efforts. After these conversations continued across a variety of community forums, the Hewlett Foundation invited this group to submit a grant proposal for a national initiative that could implement some of this work. Doers, Spark, and the regional compacts recognized the work needed to be community-driven, flexible, and informed by input from the field. An interim steering committee was established to ensure this work was grounded in community with feedback from more perspectives. To develop the framework of the potential grant-funded project, the group organized a series of webinars and other forums for community feedback over the course of the last year. This process provided feedback and input on a foundational document that could guide the work, which is articulated in the Proposal for National Coordination on Open Education. This includes a vision, purpose, guiding principles, and strategic objectives. The Hewlett Foundation ultimately did award the grant, which we are grateful for. Now I will pass it on to our steering committee member, Jeff, to share about this initiative. How will this initiative will be operating?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff. I'm the program director of Affordable Learning Georgia. I'm a member of the steering committee and the chair of Doers. I'm going to take a little bit of time to share how this initiative will operate. Once the project had been awarded the Hewlett Foundation grant, as Liliana mentioned, the interim steering committee chose a successor steering committee to carry on this work. That's the committee we have here today, and it's listed right there. The steering committee is responsible for overseeing this project, providing strategic guidance, and ensuring that the project stays true to its principles. The committee consists of 6 voting community members, each with unique expertise in open education. In addition, there are 4 non-voting members, like myself, representing Doers, Regional Compacts, and Spark. Our committee was selected based on geographic diversity, professional roles, and experience in open education. We recognize our committee is small and cannot represent every perspective. Therefore, we're committed to engaging diverse voices throughout this work to ensure that our decisions reflect broad input from the community. The project is funded by a 2-year grant from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, which is administered by Spark under the steering committee's oversight. Spark was selected to administer and staff the grant because of a successful track record of incubating community-led projects, including the Open Education Conference. One of the main roles of the steering committee is to ensure that the initiative stays true to the guiding principles that were consulted throughout community discussions last year. Our guiding principles are engage transparently and openly with the open education community, meaningfully integrating feedback and participation at all levels of work, operate at the national level while remaining aware of the diverse context of states and regions, including how activities and messages may impact states differently, collaborate with existing organizations and communities in the open education space, seeking to complement and uplift their work where welcome while respecting their agency and individual missions. Avoid duplication of existing efforts, focusing on activities that fill gaps and catalyze opportunities that benefit the field. Center equitable and inclusive practices to avoid replicating harmful structures while acknowledging the inequities in the systems we navigate. I will now pass it over to our next steering committee member, Abby, to share about the work we have planned.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Abby Elder. I work at Iowa State University, and I'm also a member of the steering committee for this project. Now that we've covered the background and how this group will work, I want to share what we're planning to actually do next, although there will be some repeated phrases you've heard in the other sections. Our next steps are guided by the framework, which we got your feedback on in our webinars last year, and which we shared in our proposal for national coordination, which is in the chat. The proposal includes a vision, purpose, and strategic objectives. The vision for this work is a future where educational resources and practices in the US higher education and beyond are openly shared and reflective of the learners they serve. We're also driven by our purpose to facilitate strategic coordination within the open education field, bringing people together to fill gaps and do more to support our learners. This vision and purpose provides the foundation for the name of the new project, the Open Education Association Development Project. Both the interim steering committee and the current steering committee really thought hard about what sort of name would work for this national field-wide nature of this work, as well as its collaborative focus. And ultimately, the concept of developing a shared association among those working in open ed resonated most strongly with us. Of course, it's still developing with your input. The scope of this project is defined by a set of core strategic objectives on this slide, which include to increase the visibility of open education in conversations and forums that reach decision makers, to expand access to funding opportunities for open education initiatives, to build infrastructure to support sustainable open education work, to enhance the recognition of open education as a scholarly practice and a professional field, and to address key barriers to advancing open education. Our first major activity, which will aid us in achieving these objectives, will be a needs assessment survey. This is designed to gather insights on the current state of open education in the US and will help guide the committee's decisions moving forward. Now, we will use those survey results to inform our next steps and ensure that our activities actually align with the needs of the community. In addition to the survey, we'll be conducting a field gap analysis to look at what existing efforts are already in place, identify areas where collaboration could have the most support, and ensure we don't duplicate any existing efforts. From there, we'll build out our concrete plans based on the results of the survey and the analysis, focusing on high impact activities that will bring the most value to the open education community. Some potential activities are listed on this slide of things we might engage in, but again, it depends on what your needs are. As we move forward, we'll continue to keep the community involved and updated, of course, so please follow our mailing list and website as this project progresses. I'll now pass it on to our next steering committee member, Joy, who will share additional information about how this work is focused.
Hi, everyone. I am Joy Shumate. I work at College of the Canyons in California, Southern California. I'm going to answer a couple of questions, our frequently answered questions, I should say, and share a bit about where this work is focused. As of right now, this initiative is focused on higher education. Regarding K-12, we recognize the importance of K-12 education, but we also acknowledge that the K-12 and higher education spaces are very different. They have different sets of people, policies, and types of open ed work. So to keep this initiative focused, we have made the deliberate decision to concentrate on higher education. However, we openly welcome and actively seek to build connections within the K through 12 space. Opportunities for these connections include the use of OER in dual enrollment and teacher training programs. In terms of international engagement, the gap this project seeks to fill is specific to the US national context, which is where our work will focus. That said, the project welcomes engagement from people anywhere in the world, especially our neighbors in Canada, and will be intentional about harmonizing with and supporting international efforts, including the UNESCO recommendations on OER and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We encourage you all to review our FAQ page if you have any additional questions about this work. So now I will pass it on over to our next steering committee member, Rebecca, to share about how you can get involved in this work.
Thank you, Joy. My name is Rebecca Taroff. I work in the University of Texas system and really honored to actually be a part of this steering committee and this initiative. We want to really invite everyone who's working to benefit learners through open education activities to participate in shaping this project. This is the leitmotif throughout this meeting that you'll hear from all of us. And there are a few ways to do this. We encourage people to sign up for the mailing list, and that's already in the chat. And if you are interested in being further involved, you can complete the interest form. We also have a comment form, where you can share your feedback, and all of these, that too will be linked in the chat. We're planning on releasing our needs assessment survey later this week, as has been mentioned, and those results will help guide the next phases of this work. And we encourage each of you to guide this work by filling it out. There are going to be other ways as we move forward to get involved, to stay up to date on progress we're making and other new activities, some of which you've heard above and some of which I imagine will emerge from today's forum, as well as the needs assessment survey. I want to pass it over now to our next steering committee member, Carlos, to gather some of your ideas and feedback.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Scholar, and I work at North Carolina State University, and I'm super excited about being part of this. I am going to take you through a few questions utilizing the platform Padlet, and the link has been put in the chat. The Padlet is set so that anyone with the link will be able to make posts under the questions. And we have 3 categories there. And you can also leave comments on the posts people make. Responses can be anonymous, but will be public for everyone to see. And the questions may require some time for you to really think through and give solid input. Therefore, don't worry if you don't have input at the moment. The Padlet will remain open, and you are welcome to put in your thoughts throughout and after the meeting. So, the first question we have is, what open education work or resources do you love that are already out there? Oh, I love this. And as you can see, several are coming in. We've got inclusiveaccess.org, OER Digest, the Pressbooks directory. That's easily searchable to look for existing OER. Spark Open Ed Leadership Fellow Program Curriculum, Open Textbook Library, Open Stacks, Open Textbook Workshops, Doers, repositories such as Commons, Open Textbook, Open Oregon, Open Pedagogy Roadmap. Thank you, Kim. Excellent. And they are still coming. More and more Moodle, everything on Moodle Net. I love that one. Cubes. Thank you, Karen. And we've realized that you may come up with other ideas later on. The Padlet is still there. Should I move on to question 2? So question 2 is, what do you need in your open education work that isn't available? Professional association, stronger and more diverse funding streams, OER and open assessment strategies, and shared metrics to demonstrate more expansive and deeply impact on student success beyond cost savings. Excellent. Replacements for publisher homework managers besides OpenStax partners. Facilitation of collaborations between institutions to reduce duplication of effort. Yeah. Ooh, and nationally recognized frameworks for OER quality assurance, peer review, and research evaluation. Quality materials, job listings. Strong national advocacy. Money, money, money. Tenure and promotion. Great. Thank you for sharing. And the last question is, what questions do you have? Any questions, comments, or feedback go in the third column on the right.
And just a reminder, this Padlet is going to remain open. So maybe you need more time to think about it, or you have questions for us that you need to think about and put. You can put it whenever you want. I will also be sending out an email to all of you that will have the Padlet information. So we can respond directly to your post on Padlet. And of course, we can respond to any questions right here, right now, if we have the answers to them. And
So we
also,
have,
oh, not to cut you off, Carlos.
no, go ahead.
Sorry. I just wanted to say that please use the thumbs up feature for like any comments or posts you see that you agree with, so we know like a lot of people are feeling the sentiment and we can take that back. Okay, here you go, Carlos. Let me stop impeding on your space.
No, no. I'll just read a couple that caught my attention. Citation chains. Why aren't there more K-12 representatives? Yes. Training on reframing OER to remove DEI, but still focus on equity. Excitement. Yes. Keep the comments, questions, thumbs up coming. And thank you for being here. How about I pass it on, Aisha?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I've seen a lot of like comments and we appreciate all these. Like I said, we can also respond to them directly through the Padlet. Just making sure we caught everything. Thank you, Dapper B, for attending. All right, so we're gonna take the time now to break out into breakout rooms. Let me just stop sharing my screen. So thank you all so much for contributing to the Padlet. Like I said before, I'll say it one more time. It's going to remain open. We will take some time to answer some of the questions in there if you input any questions. And yeah, so we are going to break out now into smaller groups. The breakout rooms would discuss the question, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you have the project do to positively impact your open education efforts? So everyone will be automatically assigned to a breakout room, and then there will be a steering committee member there that will identify themselves and help facilitate the conversation. If you want to hop off at this point, that is totally okay. And we thank you for your participation thus far. And just a reminder to please sign up for the sign up form if you're interested in continuing to be a part of this initiative, and look out for the needs assessment survey this week, because that will play an integral role in shaping the next steps of this work. And I'm just going to repost the mailing list and the get involved form and the comment form in the chat. All right. Thank you, everyone.